Hi guys, I'm Zohaib Hussain, and I'll be talking about transforming XML to HTML using XSLT on Android. The reason I chose to do this talk is because I couldn't find resources. There isn't much help online, and I went through a bunch of debug issues, a bunch of issues to get this working on Android. This talk is more focused on working with the bugs on Android rather than about Android. So the task was to fetch some data from the Daily Med website, which is a medicine database. The data was in XML, and using their style sheets, XSLT, you can transform those XML data into HTML and display it in a web view. And so I came up with the idea of, hey, let's do it on the back end, and I can just fetch those files, but that's what I got shot down with. That's how iOS did it. And if iOS can do it, we can do it too. So what's XSLT? It's basically extensible style sheet language transformation, which basically you can transform a XML document into other types of documents, such as XMLs, HTMLs, or plain text. You need your XML input with XSLT code, and it goes through an XSLT processor, giving the document you require. Here's an example of an XSLT. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it basically says it gives the HTML template, and under the UL tag, which is under the list tag, it has, once it hits the person template, just create list items with family name and first name, followed by family, and sorted by family name. So once it takes the XML input of persons, runs through the XSLT code, and this is what it spits out. Now, how do we do this on Android? It's pretty simple if your style sheet is simple. You just give your XML source, your XSLT source, you make an instance of the transformer, give your output, and it should work. But that didn't work for me. So the first error I run into is, hey, there's an IO exception, and you're missing this SPL Common Stock sheet, which wasn't the style sheet I was pointing to. So I opened up that style sheet, and it's a style sheet which points to other style sheets and other resources. After Googling and trying to search for what's going on, I found out what I was missing. It was a URI Resolver, which basically, as soon as the transformer hits a resource, it comes in the callback, and I just point it to the assets folder and say, hey, just go and look here for those files. And this looked promising, but that didn't work either. But it felt like I was making progress, and this was the, I guess, the biggest challenge I faced. So it's saying that I'm missing the class not found exception, and it says I'm missing the extension classes, which is basically so Xalen is the XSLT process on Android, and extension is basically extra functions that it needs to process my style sheet, my XSLT. There wasn't much help online, but then I found this guy online that did exactly what I was trying to do. And he said that the Android Xalen is missing most of the extension classes. And that was bad news. But he had his email there, so he said you can reach out to me if you have any questions. I did, and he came back with 2 solutions. So the efficient solution was give the sources between the Android Xalen and the Xalen jar, and add those as an external dependency, or just jar the full Xalen jar, and add that as the external dependency if you don't care about APK size. APK size didn't matter as much as getting this to work first, so I went with the easiest solution, and I had to figure out what jar was. So what jar was basically, repackages your Java libraries, meaning it renames the package in your in all the classes in your jar file. You need this so that you don't need any external dependencies in your Java library, or avoid conflict between same libraries in a Java project. So that was the case in my situation. Was I didn't want the Android Xamarin files conflicting with the Xamarin jar files. And how it works is basically you give a rule saying this is the original package name and this was the resulting package name. Just run it through the command line and it runs through all the class parts of a jar and changes the package name. So I plugged this in and it looked promising, but it didn't work. And this was where I was losing hope now. Actually, not losing hope, lost hope. And I enlisted the help of a professional XSLT developer. Basically, we went to a hardcore debugging session where he was making me jump to compiled code of the jar files, and eventually figured out that in one of the dependent jars in the Xamarin jar, there is a output HTML.properties files which was pointing to the old package name. Now, Jar changes package names of the .class files, not the property files. Once that was done, and we ran it, it all worked. Now, after the initial excitement wore off, I did a diff between the actual and expected. There was a difference of 400 lines. The initial diff tag was missing, which contained highlights of a drug label of the medicine I was transforming. So back to the drawing board with the developer, and he figured out that in the XSLT there is a function available call which is calling for the EXSL node set. But the documentation says the correct way to say is node, capital S without any dash. So there was an error in the XSLT file. And once that was corrected, everything worked. And that was generated HTML file. Yes.
Were you able to submit the diff as a bug fix, or like to an upstream project and help fix it for other people?
So I included the full jar. I didn't diff the sources and include just the classes that were missing.
Oh, so you didn't create like a patch or anything to push up?
No.
Is the project that had the missing lines, is that open? Like, could you have contributed the missing?
So Android was missing the extension functions, and maybe I should make a patch with mine.
It might be an open issue on their issue tracker already.
Could be.
I'm speculating on that.
Yes.
Was there any reason this transformation had to be done on the client side?
Yes, because there was no backend.
But where was like these XML files about each drug coming from?
So it's a website that it's Daily Med, National Institute of Health.
But not run by your company?
No, yeah, it was not run by the client, and he just wanted to either scrape or get it to get the XML data. Yes.
Oh, just wondering, what ended up being the size of this jar that you included? Do you run?
No, but I don't think it was much. I think it's not much. I can look it up maybe after the talk.
Okay, cool.
Anyone else? Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.